Hello, loves, and welcome to day 2 of the 3-day pleasure challenge. I'm super excited to jump in today. We're going to explore even more pleasure and dive into some of the sexual and kinky blueprint, which is super fun. So, we're going to go into a pleasure first, and we're going to combine some of the amazing touch and energies of what we've learned yesterday in day 1 and combine in some of the day 2 steps. So, we're going to do energetic touch, sensual touch, sexual touch in a PG way, and some kinky touch. So I'll get you to close your eyes, take some deep cleansing breath, really centering into your body and releasing and letting go of any thoughts. Being present to your breath, allowing yourself to open to even more pleasure today. Mm. And we're going to move our hands together to start. You can rub your hands together. If you want to go really fast, you can go really fast. If you want to go slow, you can go slow. Just building some energy up in your hands to start off with. Mm. And I'll get you to separate your palms and just feel into that space between your two hands. You can move them a little bit forward or back, feeling the space between them, tuning into that space if it feels like a rubber ball or taffy or magnet, and just breathing there. And then I'll get you to put the palms in front of your face and just play with the energy between your fingers, your palms, and the skin on your face. So, not actually touching your skin, but just feeling that energy, noticing any sensations in your body. If you're not really noticing anything, that's totally fine too. We're building awareness, we're building your muscles up, so to speak. So you can play with it around your head, around your face, just noticing. You can go a little bit closer to your head, a little bit further away. Just noticing how's that feeling and breathing into that space. You can move a little bit closer to your skin. If it feels good, you can do very light fingertip touch on the skin of your face. And play with going even slower. So going 1,000 times slower, just barely touching and stroking the skin on your face. Then you can go down your neck, your chest. And then you can begin with playing off the skin again. If that's feeling even better, you can play with your hands off or lightly on your chest, on your breast, on your stomach. can move down to your hips. Light, light, light fingertip touch on your thighs. You can stroke up or down, vertically or horizontally. Just noticing how this is feeling in different areas of your body. You can move to your knees. Light, light, light fingertip touch for energy off your body, going down your legs, and touching your feet, including your entire body in this pleasure. Then from your feet, we're going to move into sensual touch. So you can do more caressing touch, add some pressure, massaging your feet, your legs. Breathing into that energy, how it feels to be massaging your body now. And you can move up your legs, up your thighs. If you want to go even deeper, like massaging, kneading touch on your thighs, you can play with that. Feel what feels good. It's all experiments. We're all just learning. There's no right or wrong way. And you can caress your stomach, your back, moving your hands up and down your spine. You can go back down and caress your butt. Allowing your hands to roam and massage, sensually caressing your body. You can move up to your chest, your breasts, play with your neck, massaging anything that needs some extra love. You can do your shoulders. Your arms. You can give your scalp a bit of a massage, playing with your hair, letting your fingertips just massage your scalp. And your face, if that feels good. And just breathing into that massaging touch. Then we're going to move into some sexual touch. So this is going to be the PG version. So you can begin by cupping your genitals and breathing into that space, just being in the connection. And you can add in some Kegels. So on the in breath, you can tense your pelvic floor, do Kegels, and then exhale, release. So on your breath, whatever's feeling good, inhale and clench, exhale, release. Inhale, Kegel, exhale, release. And you can play with the speed, you can go faster, in and out and in and out. And play with your breath here, deepening it. You can release that. You can release your hands from cupping your genitals. Just tune into how that's feeling. Your vulva right now and your pussy right now. How's that feeling in your pelvic floor? And you can play with your breasts. So sexual is very genital based. So you can massage your breasts. You do circles clockwise. You do counterclockwise. You can do little circles, circling around your nipples. You can do bigger circles outward. You can play within all of those different energies. So you can do circles, you can do lines, you can push them together. Anything that's feeling good, we're just playing here. There's no right and no wrong, just anything that's feeling pleasurable. And you can release that touch, and we're going to move into some PG kinky touch. So I'm going to get you to have one arm straight out and take your other hand and with your nails, scratch your arm. So you can do it really light if that's feeling good and you're like, don't want to do it. If you're like, I really like deep scratch, and you know that, you can play with that. You can play with it just to discover, how does this feel to have scratch on your skin? You can try it with your other arm, down your hand, just playing. How's that scratching sensation feel? If there's any like little marks showing up right now, that's just gonna go away in a minute. I know that totally shows up on me. I have very light skin, so it'll look red for a minute and then it'll go back. You can play with like light scratch on your face. So we're kind of doing like energetic with some kinky. Just totally feeling into what's feeling good and just being curious of how these things feel. You can go down your neck, across your chest. You can do it light or hard, just feeling into what the sensation feels like in these different areas of your body. You can add in some sensual if you're like, ooh, that's a lot, and I want to like round it out. You can play with that too. If you're like loving the scratch, you can keep playing with the scratch. And keep being present to how your body is experiencing this. Not everything has to be like 10 out of 10 pleasure. We're just curious and exploring here. So you can bring some scratch to your thighs. You can start at your knees and bring it up your leg. You can play with the speed. Does it feel good if you slowly move up your leg with scratch? Does it feel better if you go quick up your leg? Just tuning into how your body is feeling. And again, if you want to do some sensual rubs over that, you can totally do that. And then we're going to play with a slap. So if you want to play with a slap, you can choose any place that like has some meat on it. So you can choose your butt and kind of like grab where there's a little bit more meat on your bones. And then kind of rub the area, bring some sensation there. Breathing into all the sensations. And then you can slap. And then notice how that feels in your body. You can try your other butt cheek. Again, grabbing some flesh, massaging the area, bringing some blood there. Slap when that feels good. You can do it to your thighs, playing with different areas. You can do both thighs at once. If you're like, I'm kinky and I like slaps, you can play that way. If you want to do one at a time, you can do that. And just tune into how that feels. You can massage those areas, just tuning into what your body's needing, giving your body what it needs right now. And then you can choose whatever you want your hands to be doing right now, but we're just going to play with a visualization. So, in your mind, we're going to go into a fantasy, a more kink-based fantasy. So if you've watched 50 Shades of Grey and you're like, oh my gosh, that scene was super hot, you can go to a scene that feels really good. Just notice how that's feeling in your body if those things were happening to you. So you can imagine if you want, or even like physically go with, if you were the submissive with your hands above your head, tied together, how would that feel? Knowing that your dominant partner is fully in control. I'm going to tease and please you. I'm just going to use your favorite toys to create so much pleasure in your body and bring you to the best orgasm of your life. And you can let that play out. Noticing how that feels in your body. And then you can release that fantasy. You can play with the other side. So if you want to play with some dominant energy, I invite you to picture a scene that you've fantasized about before. Some scene that you've experienced, that you saw on TV, that you heard about that's super fucking hot. And if you're like, ooh, I totally don't want to be in controlling dominant energy, you can go to another scene that feels good for you. You can allow your brain to remember back to one of the most incredible, pleasurable, orgasmic experiences you've had, and just let it play out in your brain. So if you're envisioning a more dominant scene, how did that feel to be in control? To have the toys that your sub loves, to have tied up your sub, to have played with them in any way that feels good. Just allow the scene to unfold in your brain how you want it to. Notice any sensations in your body from that. You can release that scene. You can put your hands on your lap, coming to stillness if you weren't already. Just tune into your body now. Scan from the top of your head, moving down. How did that feel, that pleasure practice? How's your body feeling now versus when we started? What have you learned? Did you try a new touch that you learned that you like or don't like? Was there an area of your body that needed to be fed a little bit more? Just being curious about how your body experienced that pleasure practice. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Beautiful. So we went through energetic touch and sensual touch and some sexual PG based touch and then some kinky touch. So yesterday we talked and introduced energetic and sensual. So I want to deepen that in your body, and we're going to continue that in day 3 as well, to deepen into the pleasure that's accessible to you, because you get to have all the pleasure that your heart desires. So we're going to continue to deepen that practice. I'm curious if anyone wants to share how their homework went. So just playing with that, you can definitely share that as well. And then we're going to go into the sexual blueprint and introduce that today. So the sexual blueprint is what most people in society kind of consider sex to be. It's the one that's most popular in our culture. It's what you see typically in porn, typically on TV and movies, where they kiss and then they go 0 to 60 in 3.5, and then they're like having sex and getting to the orgasm. So there's amazing superpowers of sexuals where they can go 0 to 60 in a couple seconds and get really quickly aroused and can be up for quickies and are just like so up for orgasms. So that's amazing and an amazing superpower for them. And it's really important to understand that for sexuals, sex is just as important as food, air, love. Sex relaxes them. Sex connects them to their partner. So for sexuals, sex is so, so, so important to them. And because that's their viewpoint on it, they can be really, really, really fun to play with, fun to have sex with. They love sex and genitals and are very visual. Like they love lingerie or naked bodies. They love their sexuality in a positive form. They're not ashamed of sex. They're just like, yeah, I love sex. I love orgasms. And they're simple in a good way. So those are some of the superpowers of sexuals. But then there can also be some shadow aspects, because if they've always experienced kind of how we were talking about yesterday, only 2 keys on the piano, their ideas around what sex and the sexual experience can be limited to a couple keys, where they're like, yeah, like how we ended last call with, yeah, like clitoral orgasms, penetration, like maybe some nipple, maybe some anal, like genitals are involved in orgasms. That's their viewpoint. So they can be a little bit more limited in what's available. They might go right straight to sex and not spend as much time enjoying the journey or foreplay. They could get a little bit too genital focused in the shadow of going right straight to the clit or going right straight to penetration instead of including the entire body. Which if they have a partner who's in a different blueprint, they just won't understand. So in their brain, sex is simple. It's in this box, and that's their only viewpoint of sex because they're not in this other wiring of sensual, for example. So if you have a sexual partner and a sensual partner, not that one or the other is better, it's just like they might miss each other because a sexual partner needs sex to relax, while a sensual partner needs to relax before they have sex. So a sensual partner needs to get out of their head and into their body and be in a relaxed state to get turned on. So they might want to like cuddle and then do some massage and then have sex. And a sexual is like, let's just get to the sex. Like, I don't understand why there's all these steps that we have to do. So that can be a shadow aspect. And again, shadows aren't anything where you're like, oh my God, I have this shadow and I'm stuck with it forever and I need to identify as this negative thing. That's not what shadows are. You get to be aware of what shadows might be showing up for you so you can heal and grow and expand your blueprint so you can have even more pleasure. And everyone can expand their blueprint. You don't have to be like, oh, I'm stuck in this forever. Um, Another shadow potentially that some sexuals can have is that they could be at risk for wanting more like porn type sex, which isn't really how human beings normally have sex. Like those are actors who are performing. And that might be their viewpoint of just what sex is. They might get upset also if one of their partners doesn't orgasm, if an orgasm doesn't happen. They are so orgasm focused. And that can also be really hard if someone else is in a different blueprint and they want orgasm to be off the table. They're like, the only way I can get this is that there's zero pressure to orgasm so that I can relax enough to actually orgasm, but having the pressure on them. And I know that used to be a big thing for me, that on my journey when I couldn't have an orgasm several years ago, it was so frustrating when I had sexual partners who just wanted me to come and who were like, once we got done, they're like, did you come? Did it happen? And it felt so terrible for me to be like, this is like the end goal. Like the only reason we're having sex is to have an orgasm, where I was more sensually based and I'm like, the making out's great and the foreplay is great and all this feels so good. Um, so other blueprints enjoy the full body experience and can have pleasure in a bunch of different ways. And it can especially be important as you're learning to orgasm or orgasm in different ways to take orgasm off the table and be like, if it happens, great, awesome. Like that's the cherry on top of the sundae. But if it doesn't, then we still have the process, which was really good and pleasurable and felt really good and deepened our connection together and all those things. And the sexual can still have an orgasm if they so desire, but it doesn't have to be the sole purpose of sex, that one goal has to be achieved. So yeah, there's like so many different things where people can be mismatching and make sexuals almost the bad guy, and sexuals are not the bad guy at all. It's just important to be aware that you're speaking those different languages. And even though for you personally, it might be really important for you to have an orgasm if you are a sexual partner, it's really important to have open communication with the other partner in the equation to discover what turns them on, what feels good for them, and then you can explore together and expand your blueprints together and have more satisfying experiences together on this journey instead of just being super narrow in that limited definition of it. Um, Other things that can come up to heal that I've seen in people is women, especially if they're sexuals, feel like society labels them as sluts or whores. Like if they want to go out and have random sex with people or hook up with people or just enjoy sex, there can be some shame that they're going to get labeled as a slut or labeled as bad. Um, and then there's the whole unfairness of the fact that guys are players if they do that. They're like, getting thumbs up and high fives from their friends for being sexuals, for having tons of sex, for having a bunch of sex with different people, that they get rewarded in our society for that. So there tends to be some things to heal in that arena, if they feel like they're gonna be, like, punished or condemned for sex. There can be all kinds of shames around, like, STIs and different things there, just that are important to clear for society. Um, yeah, because there's so much shame around it, even ones that are, like, more common to get. It's like human beings can get different STIs and be fine and take medicine and be fine, or get things and heal from it and be totally good. So there can be different layers to heal there if that's come up for you. Um, Other things that can come up that I've seen is there can be resentment between partners. So if there's an energetic partner who gets like short circuited because their partner comes in as a sexual and wants to go like 0 to 60 and 3.5, and an energetic's like, no, I need like space and tease and anticipation and like slowly going into it. And they can feel like hurt by their partners, but for not feeling understood by them. Um, Feeling like their nervous system's getting like fried by going so quick, or them as energetics not having boundaries and saying no, or speaking their truth of like, we need to warm up more. This is what I need. I will go turn myself on and then we can do stuff. Like they get to communicate clearly what is going to be supportive for them, and then they can have a satisfying experience together versus allowing the sexuals to kind of like bulldoze them and be like, well, they're my partner and I don't want my boyfriend or I don't want my husband to cheat. So I need to have sex with them in order so that they don't cheat or don't leave me. So there can be all kinds of stuff to heal there around resentment, around giving into sex, even though you didn't really feel like it. Feeling like women are objectified by men and in society, those things definitely show up. Um, Feeling uncomfortable about body, so body image, not fully loving your body or owning your body and being in your body, those things can come up to heal. Um, yeah, and any like hurt or pain from having past experiences with a sexual blueprinted partner where you felt used, or you have resentment around the sexual blueprint energy. So those things are important to heal in order to move forward. And I'm going to do some healings on that today, which I'm super excited about. And I also want to get into the kinky blueprint, which is also super, super, super fun. So when we were doing the pleasure practice, I was kind of sharing some of the like physical sensations of kink, which were kind of like in the scratch or in the slaps. And then there's psychological kink. So there's sensation based kink and then psychological kink within the kink umbrella of the blueprint. So it can be super important to be aware of what type of kinks you like and to explore it, because sometimes there's so much societal shame around things that we internalize shame and then we don't allow ourselves to experience that pleasure. So it's important to just be open to learning more about our body's actual pleasure and releasing the shame, which we're going to do some healings on, which I'm super excited about too. So the psychological kink is in your brain. So that could be around power control or being like, I'm going to be told to do something. The idea and fantasies of things really turning you on. And then there's the sensation of actual, like the scratch, the slap, toys, all those fun things. So the amazing aspects of kink is that you can have infinite pleasure. Like literally a superpower of a kinky person is that you can have different spice in your life for the rest of your life if you so desire. And I also want to preface that kink is different for everyone. It's very individual for what you desire. Um, so it's anything that's taboo. So for some people, you could think sex out of missionary is super kinky, especially if you were raised like very religious, where you were told like you could only have sex when you're husband and wife and you're using sex to make a baby and that's what you're doing. Um, so sex could be outside the bedroom, up against a wall. It could be involving toys. So whatever your particular taboo is, that can go under the umbrella of kink. It's not just like BDSM and all that kind of stuff, although that can be also under the kink umbrella. But literally, like mentors that I work with who have been doing this for decades are like, yep, I've been exploring and going deep into this, and there doesn't seem to be an end point of things that you can discover and play with in kink. So you can have infinite pleasure and adventure for the rest of your life with the kink blueprint. Um, when they're not in shame, when they don't have that coming up for them, they can be extremely good at communication. In the kink community, there tends to be a lot more communication around consent, what people desire, what people don't, where their hard edges are. They communicate a lot more. They have like words like red and green and yellow to like stop and you're good to go and slow down. There tends to be a lot more healthy, open communication within the kink blueprint. Um, if you are psychologically kinky, you can be very easily turned on when the right buttons are pressed. So that can be super fun. Within kink, you can also access altered states of consciousness. You can go into subspace or into dom space. You can reach amazing peaks through that and erotic states. You can use the kink blueprint in different experiences and sessions to go deeper into healing. To access heightened experiences that you wouldn't typically be feeling. So that's all the amazing positive superpowers of the kinky blueprint. And then the shadows that can come up with that, which again are not things you have to be like, this is a label and yeah, this is something that's on me and I'm going to have it forever. It's just awareness that this is what can show up for you. And you can be lovingly compassionate and gentle and aware with your um, internal guidance system of like, I get to love myself. There's a shadow here. I'm going to be loving and compassionate and choose to move forward in my baby step to heal the next piece without being like, oh my God, this is going to be ruined forever. Or, oh my God, I'm a horrible person because I get turned on by like women's shoes or whatever. Like you can just be like, I love myself and I can heal this. I can enjoy it and get into that space. So other shadows are that they can get stuck in like a groove. So if someone's like, the only way I can ever orgasm or get turned on is if there's like a yellow raincoat involved, then that might be a shadow because if they want to have different access to pleasure and they want to be able to have all kinds of fun in all kinds of different ways, then it can feel upsetting and hard to be like, but the only way I can do it is this way, as if there's like a yellow um, code involved. That was like something that was typically used in my course, and I always just like loved the visualization of that of like a yellow raincoat. Um, so that can be something that if you get in a groove, it can become a grave of like getting stuck in that being the only way to access turn on or the only way to access orgasm. So if you desire more types of pleasure, more accesses, then you can expand into those. But that could be a shadow thing where they get stuck in a specific fetish or specific fantasy, and that's the only route that they have. Um, they can feel like alone or isolated, especially if they don't feel safe in sharing their kinky desires to a partner or to other people, or they're just like ashamed of it or think that the world won't understand, or they can get in trouble if their boss or anyone found out that were kinky in any way. So there can be really deep shame there and just like heavy things to move through. Uh, if you're not safe about kink, it can have risks for our safety. So it's super, super, super important that when you play in the kinky realm, that you get an actual teacher to teach you. And I don't particularly teach people how to play in the kinky realm, but I have a ton of resources for people who desire to do that. So if you feel called to that, definitely reach out to me. You can send me an email, reply to the replay of this, and I'll get you into some really amazing conversations with people who are kink educators and can teach you safe ways to play with floggers, to play with impact play, to play with rope. All those things need safety to be first. So it's so, so, so important that if you are kinky or if you want to expand into some kinky pleasure, that you choose an instructor that you feel safe with that can guide you on that journey so that you're ensuring you're safe and your partner or partners are safe on your journey. Um, some things that can also happen when you're playing in the kinky realm is that you can have like an emotional or energetic drop after specific kinky sessions. So there can be sub drop. That's the thing that some people can experience from going from such a high um, to like a low. Um, and then also like within the kinky community, it's important to be aware of, so this is especially for like people who are submissive. There can be experiences where women are just kind of like naive and thought that 50 Shades of Grey was really hot and they want to go find some dom. And when you don't have the proper kink education and know how consent works and what your boundaries are and all those things, it can unfortunately be negatively used by some people who are doms who aren't necessarily great, or people who might have negative intentions for you and just want to like separate you from the herd and stuff like that. So there's all kinds of things to do in order to play safe in the kinky world. So that's something that I really, really, really want to highlight here, is that to avoid risks and bad experiences happening, definitely be safe and educate yourself in how to play in the kinky realm and as you like explore your edges and go outside your comfort zone. But it's super, super fun. Highly recommend it. It's super fun. I've explored a ton into the kinky realm with safe partners and with very safe people. Um, but yeah, definitely need to have safety first in this one. So let's move into some healings so you can clear any of the negative energy around some sexual or kink that could show up for you or has showed up for you. And I'm going to do some theta healing downloads for this. So what your theta brainwave is connected to your subconscious mind. And I'm going to use higher power here, but in your own brain, you can substitute like God, creator, source energy, universe, whatever you desire, um, so that you can receive these healings and clear, release, and let go of everything that doesn't serve you, so you can welcome in the space for the new and even more pleasure and orgasmic bliss into your world. So do you want to clear, release, and let go of any and all negative energy, shame, and disappointment that you've had around sex? And if you would like that, you can say yes. Do you want to clear, release, and let go of the belief system that you're a slut or whore for enjoying sex or wanting to have multiple partners or date a bunch of people, that you can clear, release, and let go of any and all shame or guilt or disappointment around what you desire, and allow yourself to love, honor, and accept what you crave and what you desire, and that you can give yourself permission to explore the pleasure that you're actually called to. And if you would like that, you can say yeah. Do you want to clear, release, and let go of any and all hurt, pain, negative experiences, or cell trauma around sexual experiences that didn't feel good for you? You can clear, release, and let go of any negative energy, of like one night stands, of going beyond your own personal boundaries or limits in order to please the partner that you were with, to please a man, to please the woman that you were with. You can clear, release, and let go of any and all self-hatred or self-sabotage that you've experienced around your sexuality. And if you would like that, you can say yes. Do you want to clear, release, and let go of all the like heavy junk and baggage around being used for sex, feeling that your body is for a man's pleasure or for someone else's pleasure, and that you have to put your own needs, wants, and desires on the back burner to please them, to prevent them from cheating, to prevent them from leaving you, and that you can clearly let go of any and all rejection and abandonment issues that are tied to this. And if you would like that, you can say yes. That feels like a big one for some people, so definitely breathe through that. And you want to know who you are and what your life looks like? Being empowered in your sexual experiences, that you can speak confidently and clearly around what turns you on, what feels good in your body, what your boundaries are, what your hell yeses are, what your no's are, what the areas of exploration that you're into. You can allow yourself to feel safe in communicating that and to know that you're worthy and deserving of receiving what you desire and co-creating that with a partner that you're either with or that you're calling in to be with. And if you would like that, you can say yes. Do you want to clear, release, and let go of any and all sexual shame that's been coming up in your world, that you can give yourself permission to enjoy all the pleasure that your body has available now, and that you can expand into even more, that you can even more deeply connect to the sensations of your body, your skin, that you can feel safe and feeling things even more deeply and pleasurably, and that you can allow yourself to be open to receiving more pleasure. And if you'd like that, you can say yes. Do you want to clear, release, and let go of any and all shame of past experiences where you shared something with a partner and they rejected you, or they didn't understand, or it created a conflict or a fight in some way, that you can clear, release, and let go of the pain and suffering surrounding those experiences? If you'd like that, you can say yes. Do you want to know what it looks like and feels like to safely explore the kink blueprint? That you know what it looks like and feels like to move in inspired baby steps for your safety and the safety of your partner, and that you can trust that you're guided to the right teachers and educators as you explore this world and these toys and these experiences that you desire to learn more about in safe ways. And if you'd like that, you can say yes. Do you want to clear, release, and let go of any like awkwardness or like fumbliness or negative experiences around sexual experiences where it didn't work out quite right, where like sounds that you didn't like happened, or like queefing, or like you feel like you messed up, that you can clear, release, and let go of the sadness and the frustration or any anger around those awkward or negative experiences that you've had sexually, so you can allow yourself to continue to play in the space of sexuality without fearing that you'll be laughed at or judged, or think that you're too new, or that you're like novice and your partner is too advanced for you, that you can clear, release, and let go of any separation of that, that you're different than someone else and that they could judge you, that you can allow yourself to really honor exactly where you're at on your journey, so that you can explore more and that you can expand into more pleasure and that you can get to the expert or advanced experience level if you so desire, and if that's what your heart's calling you to do. And if you would like that, you can say yes. And you want to clear, release, and let go of any and all shame around getting turned on by certain things, by seeing things or seeing 50 Shades of Grey and being like, oh my God, that's hot, but oh, I don't want to do it. And like, that's not right. And good girls don't do that. You can clear, release, and let go of any and all societal shame around that, or internalized shame that you've received around what you desire, what turns you on, or what you want to play with, or what you have orgasm from, that you can clear, release, and let go of all that heaviness on all levels. And if you'd like that, you can say yes. And you want to clear, release, and let go of like the old hurt, junk, negative energy of being a different blueprint than your partner. That you can allow yourself to explore and expand in new ways without the old stuff coming back to the surface, or the fear that you're going to be rejected, or that they're not going to understand you, or they're not going to be into it. You can clear, release, and let go of like the sadness and the frustration and baggage and negative energy of just missing each other, of not speaking each other's language, and allow yourself to forgive them on all levels for being that actor on your stage that showed you this thing to heal, this trigger, this shadow that's there to heal. That you can also forgive yourself for any roles and responsibilities that you had in co-creating this experience, and that you can choose to be free of this moving forward, that you can have this deep level of forgiveness for yourself and others, so you have a clean slate moving forward and even more freedom to receive pleasure. And if you'd like that, you can say yes. Do you want to clear, release, and let go of any and all negative energy where you've been stuck in your head, where you've been overthinking things, where you've been in your head instead of present to your body, where you've been trying to orgasm from something, but your orgasm's feeling elusive and it's not quite there, or any experiences where you felt pressured to come quicker or that you need to get turned on quicker or get wet quicker, that you can clearly release and let go of the negative energy around that. If you'd like that, you can say yes. Do you want to clearly release and let go of any overwhelm that your system has had by moving too fast in the past, feeling like you had to keep saying yes to things, or that you had to move fast in order to like keep the guy around that you were interested in, or keep the person that you were dating kind of interested in you, that you can clearly release and let go of that. And any energy where your nervous system has been feeling overwhelmed or short circuited from feeling like they were going too fast, too quickly. And if you'd like to clear that, you can say yes. You want to clear, release, and let go of any and all negative experiences where sex has been painful, where you went to penetrations too soon and you weren't wet enough, where you didn't speak up and say that you weren't quite ready or that you needed lubrication, that you can clear, release, and let go of any pain from having sex in uncomfortable places or outside or against the wall and it hurt, that you can clear, release, and let go of any like cellular memory of sex being painful, and that you can release and let go of the story that sex is painful and that's just how it is in your body. And if you'd like to clear that, you can say yes. You can breathe through that, especially the people who are like, oh my God, sex has been so painful. Just breathing through that download as it integrates. And then we can integrate all of those changes. And I can offer you a general healing for any and all other areas, your body, life, business that are ready to be healed right now, and fill you up with your higher power's unconditional love, compassion, peace, and prosperity. And if you'd like that, you can say yes. And take some deep cleansing breaths. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. And there's like so many other things. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to keep doing downloads. So I'll be sure to do more downloads on day 3. When I was going over the shadows, if there was anything in specific that was coming up for you and you're like, oh my God, the shadow is really like hard for me. I know yesterday I was kind of alluding to writing down some things because we're going to go deeper into it on day 3. So you can definitely let me know, send me a PM on Facebook or reply to the email with the replay in it around the specific areas that you'd like me to highlight. Clearings on during day 3 tomorrow, so I'm super excited to do that. There were just so many things even coming through from this one that I'm like, yes, there's so many more areas to heal. And yeah, clear the old energy out so that you're more free. So all these healings, it's clearing the layer off. So if we imagine that our healing journey is like onion, where it's like deeper and deeper layers, there can be deeper layers that come up. And it's not something to be like, oh my gosh, I didn't heal it. It's just like, okay, when we're at new levels, new layers will come up. So this is not like, oh, that like, I don't know, 10 or 15 minutes of healing is going to heal all of my sexual things. That's totally unreasonable. But it's to kind of clear the stuff that's at the surface for you right now, things that have been holding you back. So you can go a little bit deeper and then heal things and expand more and heal things and expand more. So even if you want to view it the other way as like a comfort zone where it's like, if you heal things, then you can expand into that pleasure and then heal and grow and expand into this without having expansion and contraction and constriction energy where it's like, I don't feel safe here, so I'm going to go back in. Which some of that is normal on our healing journeys where it's like, oh, we're exploring, and there can be some of that where it's like expansion and then this is our normal, but you get to like have less of the going in and having more of the, ooh, this feels good. Ooh, and I grew and I healed and expanded into this level of pleasure. And ooh, I get to go here, and like little bits of waves there instead of like big shifts in your energy. Um, so yeah, I'm super excited to go deeper into the healings tomorrow. I'm also going to talk about the 3-month group program that I'm going to have coming up. And if you're already like, oh my gosh, I've been loving these blueprints, I totally want to discover what my blueprint is, I'm going to put the link to the quiz again. So you can test for free at a logical base what your blueprint is. And then in the 3-month group, we're actually going to do some body testing to know what somatically in your body the blueprints are. Um, because sometimes it can line up a little bit different than your quiz from your brain because you haven't experienced that in your body yet, or um, you have some kind of limiting belief in your brain that you're like, oh no, I wouldn't find that pleasurable, but then your body doesn't lie. So your body can share a lot of really fun things with you. We can body map your body for pleasure and just really explore the 5 blueprints way deeper. Tomorrow, we're also going to go into shapeshifter. So I'm super excited to do that and some more healings and explore there. But if you're already like, oh my gosh, this is so good, I so need the erotic blueprints in my world, I want to be an epic lover and have the best solo sex with myself and have amazing sex with my partner, then I definitely invite you to an erotic expansion session. So that's a 30 to 45-minute call with me where we can explore exactly where you're at on your journey right now and any gaps in where you desire to be. So if you're like, I'm this and I think my partner is this and there's some gaps here and I want to be this, we can talk about that, what gaps are specifically showing up for you. We'll also discover the number one thing that's showing up in your world, that healing that is kind of going to be like the big domino piece where it's like when you heal this thing, when you expand into this thing, all the rest becomes like easier or unnecessary, instead of being like at the carnival and like randomly hitting things because you're like, is it here? Is it here? Is it this problem? Is it that problem? Um, where you're like whack-a-moling it and you're like, I don't know how to make this work between me and my partner. I don't know how to get better sex. And it's just like you're whack-a-moling it instead of actually being like, oh yeah, this one domino piece makes everything way better in my life. And we can also talk about your personalized plan for pleasure as you move forward and expand and see if the 3-month group is the best fit for you as you expand into your erotic pleasure and receiving even more in your world. So I'm super excited to have those conversations and super excited to get into day 3 tomorrow. So I'm sending you so much love and lots of pleasure. And your homework for today is to just really connect into your body using those blueprints. So if you're like, ooh, I really like this touch on my chest and I want to play with like light fingertip touch and then scratch. And I want to play with how this is. Just, I invite you to play for your home play, your homework tonight, and just enjoy your body more, even if it's just for a minute, even if you're like, I have a minute before I do my next call or before I have the next thing or before I make dinner. You can add pleasure in your day throughout your day. So I definitely invite you to do that. And I'm sending you so much love and light and hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.